Hello, welcome to this video. In this video, we're going to be going and revisiting one of my most popular videos, which was how to learn 80% of QuickBooks in 20 minutes. And I'm going to challenge myself because now we're going to learn 80% of QuickBooks in 15 minutes. Why? Well, actually, if I look back at that video, there are certain aspects of that you don't necessarily need if you're just trying to learn the basics of QuickBooks. Because the whole point of this whole how to learn 80% of something as opposed to 100% is a particular theory. And that theory is that it takes probably 15, 20, 30 minutes to learn 80% of something, but to learn that final 20% could take absolute years. And that's really what we're going to learn today. How do we make sure that we can understand 80% of QuickBooks Online in as short amount as possible so that you guys can start using QuickBooks at the best possible rate? Because if you don't know, this channel is all about QuickBooks Online. I am the QuickBooks chap, and my whole idea is to make sure that as a certified UK trainer for QuickBooks, I'm teaching you how to use QuickBooks to its full. But I can't teach you how to use QuickBooks to its full unless you know the fundamental basics. So this video is going to be all about making sure that you know those fundamental basics. So strap in, I'm going to set a clock, and we're going to make sure that you get to know exactly how to first start using QuickBooks, learn that fundamentals in just 15 minutes time. Ooh, this is going to be a good one. Strap in and stay tuned. Hello, my name is Aaron Patrick. I am a chartered accountant, a certified UK trainer with a fancy new logo, that QuickBooks chap on the internet, head of accounts here at Bookkeeping, and your friendly podcaster who goes live at 8:30 AM each and every Monday, called Ask the Accountant. This video is basically a follow-up to my most popular video. And actually, not only is it a very popular video, and it's been borrowed / stolen, whichever way you want to look at it, from various members in our accountant community. And you know what they say, right? Imitation is actually a form of flattery. So if that was my most successful video and lots of change in QuickBooks Online, it's only right that we revisit it and make sure that you guys have exactly the best start possible with QuickBooks Online. My name is Aaron Patrick. Let's go straight away and let's get this off the road because I'm really excited to tell you exactly how to use QuickBooks Online. Let's go. Okie dokie. So first of all, when you first start, it's going to say, what's your legal name? Pretty simple. Then you're going to tell them what's your industry. So in this point, I'm going to say I'm an online wholesaler retailer. Then you choose what type of business are. If you're confused about this one, head over to our Bookkeeping channel. We'll explain exactly what the difference between sole trader partnership and private limited company is. How long have you been in business? Less than 1 year. Let's go. Now this particular screen actually isn't too much of a importance. We can choose anything here. All it's going to do is give us a bit of help on how to do it. More importantly though, you're going to appear in the screen ahead of me. Now please do familiarise with this screen. Take the quick tour and have a look around because this is really, really important. Especially this business overview page just here. Notice how I clicked on here to get there. From here, it's going to give you all the information about making sure your business is growing and giving you information that's going to help you with your business. And I find it really important. I've been able to help businesses just from this page alone to understand exactly how their business is going. Quick tour, top right hand corner, that's going to be where you find your help button, where you can be able to get some information about helping you. And it's actually a real person on the other end, so I highly recommend having a look at that one. And then next to it, just there, is your settings cog. So if there's anything in there that you need to change, go do it. We've done a whole video of the settings cog to give you a bit of an indication. Do note as well, there is a search functionality button just here. It isn't just your search functionality, but also crucially is your most recent transactions. So if you've just done a transaction and you think, actually, did I do it right? Or should I make an amendment to it? Use that, get back to it, and you can make adjustments accordingly. Left-hand side, top right-hand corner is the new button. From here, we can go and create new things within QuickBooks Online. And on the left-hand side are all your various menus. We're not going to go through all of this in this video, but if you do subscribe to the channel, you'll notice that every single one of those has a dedicated video to it. All right, most important area then is the banking area just here. Reasons that this is so important is because this is going to get you the best way being able to get the most out of QuickBooks Online. Because your first and most important bit is to connect your bank account. Watch this. I'm going to use the Connect Bank Account button, and when I connect the bank account, I choose what bank account I want to connect. So in my case, I'm going to be using Revolut. And then press Let's Go. I make sure I agree and read all that information, and then I sign into Revolut. Now Revolut's pretty cool the way that it does it. It's all based on your mobile app. So all I need to do is put in some personal information, putting a password, and then on mine, I just literally go to my mobile app and I just confirm the login right here. And then for me, I just need to make sure I'm authorized in the right account. Now the benefits of this are huge. Basically what you're doing is you're attaching your bank account to QuickBooks Online. So every time that I make an expense or I receive some income into my bank account, well, that's automatically going to appear in QuickBooks Online. It means the date's going to be right, the amount's going to be right, and the description's going to be there waiting for me to use. And it starts building up a profile of your business, and it's going to learn that way as well. So if you keep going to the same place and you say that, you know what, I'm always getting travel costs from this taxi firm, it's going to know that, and next time that taxi firm is, you can even set it to automatically go to what it needs to do and categorize it correctly. Now, the first thing I need to do here is add a brand new account. Now, when I'm adding an account from QuickBooks Online, I need to choose what type of it's going to be. That's the most crucial bit up here. This detail type, try and make it as best as possible, but really you're just going through there. I'm actually going to call it Revolut, so it makes it super simple for me to know that that's what this bank account is. Save and close. I choose how far back I want to go on it. So in this point, I'm going to go for the whole year and connect. And honestly, this step here will ultimately change the way that you do your bookkeeping going forward. You've really taken out the hardest part about it, and it just brings this information in. So let's press done, and your bank account is all set. Okay, right, so exciting times now. Now, basically, there's some really important information about this. Top left-hand corner is your bank card. On here, it's going to tell you the bank balance you have already and your in QuickBooks balance. And ideally, you want both of these amounts here to be the same. If they're the same, that gives you confidence, right? If you've got £100 in your bank and £100 in QuickBooks, well, you know everything's hunky-dory. If there's a difference between the two, then there's something not quite right, and that's what we want to be looking at. In this case, the reason that it's not quite right is we're happy that it's been updated because it will tell you here how long it was updated. But this number here, 32, is absolutely crucial. That 32 is fundamental. That 32 talks about that there's 32 transactions in QuickBooks that I haven't yet dealt with. And what it means is that there are 32 transactions in my for review column. The for review column in QuickBooks is basically the transactions that QuickBooks are aware of, but haven't yet added to QuickBooks. And it's really important you understand that bit. If your transactions are in for review, then you can see them, but they're not yet in QuickBooks. And this is what you need to 100% understand about the banking in QuickBooks Online. Let's have a look. So what we've got here is the for review section just there. And our job as the accountant or bookkeeper or business owner is to make sure we go from the for review tab to categorized, or from the for review tab to excluded. Now, excluded is really, really straightforward. Excluded means that the transaction shouldn't have been there in the first place. Very rare that that's going to happen, but maybe you've accidentally imported the wrong bank account, or you've manually uploaded transactions, because you can manually upload the bank account transactions, and maybe you chose a date range that was already there and you duplicated them. Very rare, but that's what the excluded option's for. It's when you've made a mistake. It's to give you an option to clear up any issues or any mistakes that have happened. Most of the time, though, you're going to move in from for review to categorized. Now, when you move from for review to categorized, there's two main options you've got to think of. The first option is, are you going to match the transaction? Imagine that you've already put the transaction in some way. Either you've added it manually. Imagine you've sent an invoice out to a client and you're waiting for them to make payment. Well, you've already made that invoice. You don't want to duplicate that transaction. You don't want to make sure that you account for it twice, right? So the match option gives you the opportunity to match what money's received to what transaction you already have in QuickBooks and make sure that they're talking to one another. It's crucial that we understand that bit, because your first and foremost bit when you're dealing with your bank is you need to make sure that if something is matching, you match it accordingly. If you can't match it, i.e. it's the first time you've ever seen the transaction, or that transaction's never been in QuickBooks before, then at that point, it's your opportunity to add the transaction. And the best thing about this is because you've already added the bank account, well, QuickBooks knows the amount, knows the date, knows the description. You just need to tell it what that transaction relates to. Super straightforward, super easy, and that's why we love QuickBooks. Let's have a look. Okay then, so I've got a few transactions here, and this is demo data, so don't worry too much about it. Let's just concentrate on transactions I know is easy to deal with. Here's Apple Core Accountancy just here, income that I've had. I've sold a solution to them and they've paid me £100. They paid me on the 2nd of the 5th, 2023, Apple Core Accountancy, and crucially, QuickBooks already realizes they think this is sales, which is absolutely spot on. Now, notice how next to it it's giving me the option to add. The reason it's giving me the option to add is because it can't match anything at this point. It doesn't know that anything's there for me to match, but no problem, I can add this accordingly. So if I click into the transaction, it opens it up and it gives me the information I need. Very top end up here, it's telling me, do I want to still categorize it? So add it basically, or has QuickBooks got this wrong? Should I actually be able to match it? Should I be looking in different places? Gives me a chance to match it, or record as transfer because there's 2 entries to a transfer, right? One bank account, one other. Transfer, just make sure that they reconcile properly together. First of all, it wants me to add a customer supplier. I don't need to, but actually I find it good practice just to add a customer against it. So if I say that, yeah, I want to add a brand new one called Apple Core Accounting Limited, I'm happy with that, let's press save. Then the category here is going to sales. I'm happy with that. If I need to change it though, drop down the arrow here, I can choose any of the ones already there or use the fancy add new button that we saw when we added the bank account. Sales is happy for me. You don't need to put tags into place. All you need to do is make sure that you're happy with this transaction, make sure the category, and it's your job to make sure the category is right. QuickBooks will guess that category for you, but you've got to make sure you're happy with that category before you press this. And once I'm happy, I press add. Now, when I press add, a few things are going to happen. This figure up here, the in QuickBooks figure, is going to increase by £100. This number here, the 32 transactions, is going to reduce by 1 because we're going to see 1 transaction dealt with. So I'm going to go and add the transaction. The transaction now doesn't appear on this list. I'm now down to 31 transactions to go, £222 in my bank. And if I jump in the categorize option, I only have 1 there. And that's the one categorize option that I've done. I've gone and added £100 to my bank straight away. If though I've done anything wrong, I can click using this one here and it's open up the transaction for me. I can make an amendment if I need to, or I can press the undo button to send it back into the for review area. Now, the clever thing about QuickBooks is it's going to learn from me. Notice this next transaction from Apple Core Accountancy just there. Gone green. Green means that it's a little bit more confident it's right because you've done this before. And if I was to go, and if I look at this, what's called categorization history here, I can see that last time I added it, it went to sales. So I'm confident that that's right. It only knows my categorization history because I put the Apple Core Accountancy Limited in here in the customer. That's why that's so important, so QuickBooks can learn for you. Now, watch what happens when I press add this time around. QuickBooks had a bit of an aha moment. It sees that we've been posting Apple Core Accountancy to sales, and it's asking me the question, is this always true? And it's giving me the option to next time round auto add it by creating a rule. And what happens is if I press, yeah, you know what, Apple Core Accountancy is always going to be sales. I'm happy with that. Press create rule. Means next time round Apple Core Accountancy sends me money, it knows what to do with it. It's automatically going to add it. Meaning we've automated that solution. Meaning every time they pay us now, QuickBooks automatically knows what to do with it and I don't need to do anything at all. How cool is that? Right, the next items on the left-hand side are expenses, for example. Let's look at this black cab. Here's a great example. QuickBooks has put it to entertainment. Remember, it's our job to make sure we get that right. It's not entertainment, it's actually travel. I put it to travel and expenses, but QuickBooks is clever because as soon as I press add, now QuickBooks knows next time round, black cab should really be travel and should go through from there. It's now my job to go through and add all of these transactions. If I want to add multiple transactions at the same time, like these 2 apron ones here, I can use the tick boxes on the left-hand side. That opens up my batch actions at the top, meaning instead of going into individual ones, I can just go through and accept. And as long as I'm happy that the categories are right, I can press accept, or I can use the update option and actually say, you know what, this isn't entertainment, this is travel as well. Apply and accept. Those 2 are added, and QuickBooks is then going to say, oh, is apron always going to be that? If so, why not create a rule to make your life even easier? Ultimately though, my job is to add everything there. Once I've added everything, look what happens. I get a nice big green tick to say everything is A-OK. I also get an opportunity to see that my bank balance and in QuickBooks balance are now exactly the same. How cool is that? I now have confidence everything's okay. Now, we're not going to see it in this video, but please do look at my video about reconciliation because ultimately the next step here is to reconcile your bank to give you that real big fuzzy feeling inside to make sure everything's okay. So I've started putting transactions in. If I look at my dashboard now, my whole business is completely changing in front of my eyes. I can see profit and loss. I can see expenses. I can see what's entertainment versus what's travel. I can see what my bank account is. I can see if there's anything else there. Even crucially, what my invoices are. And speaking of invoices, how do we send an invoice in? Now, depending on the type of business you are, you may have to send an invoice or you may not. If I need to send an invoice, I'm going to get paid for it at a later date. I use the new button, top left-hand corner, and invoice. From here, I get to choose what my customer is. So let's say the QuickBooks chap, and I get to put all the information in. Crucially though, the email address is really important, so make sure you put that one in. Press save. All right, that customer is now saved as a customer going forward. I can select to accept card payments or even a direct debit solution just by using these options up here to make it really easy for clients to make payment to you. I choose my date and I choose my due date. Then I just need to tell QuickBooks what it is I'm selling. So in this case, I can drop down here, is it hours sales, or do I want to add something brand new? If I add something brand new, I choose if it's non-stock, service, or bundle. I'm going to stick it as service. I'm going to call it QuickBooks Training. From here, I can set a price, let's say £100, and save and close. Now, what that means is now that every time I use QuickBooks Training, it knows what the normal rate is. And maybe I can say, well, actually, I did 3 hours for them, so that's £300. And literally, all I need to do is press save and send. I can edit all of this to my heart's content, save and close, send and close, and we're off. It's even going to tell me that my invoice is sent, and I'll also know that I can set up online payments if I need to and show how the accept payment works. Crucially though, on my dashboard area for business overview just here, you'll see that I now have invoices and I've got £300. It's not quite due yet, but it's telling me it's there. Now, if I change the date of this by going into anything, you can just edit the transaction there and then, brings back up this information here. But let's change the date of this, and let's say actually this was for the 1st of April and it was due the 1st of May, which is now going to be overdue. So if I save that, press continue, go back to my dashboard, notice how now it's telling me it's overdue. Now this dashboard is so powerful because I can now go into there, click into it, find out exactly what the problem is. And at the right hand side, I can even say, well, let's send them a reminder and remind me to go and get that paid. Now, what does the client see? Well, they get an email, invoice from 80% in 15 minutes. I can review and pay it. They get a nice professional dashboard here. They can view their invoice, download it, print it, and even ask questions about it if needed. If they do view the invoice like we have just done here, then if I go back to my invoice, look at the transaction, notice some activities updated. It was opened, it was sent 2 times, and it was even viewed. So we get to see the exact timeline of every single invoice, meaning we're in control of how our invoices are going directly within QuickBooks Online. Some bonus tips, we looked about how to interact with the banking and how to get that information in there. If you want to record expenses elsewhere, maybe cash for example, just use the mobile app. From here you can take a photo of the transaction and then it's going to extract that data and put it directly into QuickBooks. They'll all appear in this receipts area, and the clever thing is if you use your phone using the app, take photos of it, bring it in, completely free of charge this by the way, then it's going to extract that data. It'll find the date, find the amount and bring it straight in. It's absolutely magical. We love the receipt capture and we did loads of videos on it to have a deep dive in exactly how that works, so keep an eye on it. And finally, don't do all of this without making sure you understand the reports. This is your business. The whole point of using QuickBooks is you get real-time information. So for example, I can use profit and loss by month, and from profit and loss by month I can choose the date range at the top here and run reports, and I'm straight away starting to understand how my business is doing. I can see that actually I've started to really grow my business to April. I've been able to go £50, £100, £200. I'm starting to see a positive growth on how my business is doing. And start of May, we're onto a real strong start, £100 already, when in April we did 473. Look at my expenses, I can see my purchase starting to ramp up. In fact, actually, March was quite a painful month for me in expenses, but I'm seeing that in real time. Maybe that's something I can fix and sort out. And then it's showing me expenses. And then if there's any questions you got, I can't remember spending advertising, click into it. So I click in, £58.96, and go straight to the transaction. And what crucially you can do as well is add attachments just here. So if there's a proof of where that transaction's come from, put it in there. you can make sure we're exactly right. Or in this case, I might think, actually, that's not really advertising. That was actually a bit of new stock. So let's put that to purchases. Just make the adjustment, press save and close. And if like magic, when I go back to my report summary, I don't have any advertising expenses anymore. It's been moved correctly to my purchases. Simple as that. And there we have it. That was 15 minutes, give or take. And you can see that if you just apply what I've just shown you, you know literally 80% of what QuickBooks has to offer. Now there's a lot more to learn, so please do think about subscribing to this channel. It really does help me, and it'll give you the opportunity to find out exactly what's going on in the world of QuickBooks. We do videos all the time about QuickBooks, each and every week, so that you can get the most out of it. And as you can see, there's a lot more still to learn. But knowing what you know now, I promise you, you are already on the right track. You have everything you need to be able to start giving QuickBooks the best possible go. But please heed my warning. Make confidence in that reporting area. Start looking through those reports that are there and start getting to grips with what that reports are telling you. If nothing else, just use that dashboard area. Get confidence in what's going on. You should be able to see those transactions and feel like that is starting to make sense, because ultimately this is going to be what's happening with your business and let you know if that business is going in the right direction or not. Let me know in the comments below how you're doing with your starting out on QuickBooks Online. Have you found it easy? Did you find it struggling? Did this video help at all? I'd love to know in the comments section. My name's been Aaron Patrick. Don't forget to like, subscribe, all that sort of stuff. And I promise you, if you need anything to do with QuickBooks Online, you're already in the right place. So get yourself subscribed and we'll make sure that you are the first to know with everything that happens in QuickBooks Online. My name's been Aaron Patrick. This video has been an absolute pleasure to do for you, and I no doubt will see you in a video very soon. Bye for now.